Hello, Wolfpack. We're here on the Bitcoin Cash daily chart in the USD pair. We've also got the Bitcoin Cash Bitcoin pair on the weekly chart lined up, ready to go after this analysis. Bitcoin Cash is the coin that I've wanted to analyze for a while. We haven't had that much engagement on it with our Telegram group, so I haven't posted an analysis yet, but today I decided, what the heck, let's post an analysis on Bitcoin Cash. I'm a big fan of Bitcoin Cash. It's definitely one of my favorite coins that I will be taking into the altcoin season when that arrives and when Bitcoin dominance shows signs of dropping and when Ethereum outplays Bitcoin a little bit. I'll be picking up some more Bitcoin Cash, and I'll tell you why. That's due to the fact that Bitcoin Cash, the way I see Bitcoin Cash is it has the same level of returns as most higher cap altcoins with a much lower level of risk due to the fact that it has the name Bitcoin. And I'll tell you why. I think it has a much lower risk because when people get into the market, which is what happens in bull markets, 90% of the people investing in crypto in bull markets are new to cryptocurrency. It's just a fact. They look at the coins. They're not very educated on the market. They look at the coins. They buy Bitcoin, obviously, because it's the one they've heard all about. And then they'll buy Bitcoin Cash as well because it has the name Bitcoin. That's the only reason they'll buy it. They won't look into the fundamentals. They won't look into the TA. They'll buy it because it has the name Bitcoin and it's relatively high up on the leaderboards there. It's available in all major exchanges. It's got that extra security during the bear market because in order for Bitcoin Cash to actually die, so to speak, and go to zero, Bitcoin will have to die. Unlike, coins like Litecoin, for example, which is Bitcoin Cash's biggest competitor, it's got none of that extra support there in terms of security. It's got no, father coin that's looking out for it in a sense. If Litecoin, fails as a product, it's going to die. If Bitcoin Cash fails as a product, well, people are still going to buy it because the newbies getting into crypto are going to look at the top 10 chart. They're going to see Bitcoin Cash there right next to Bitcoin and they're going to buy it. But in terms of fundamentals as well, just briefly before we get into the TA, I'm a big fan of Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash has a lot of haters. And I don't really understand why. I understand that, the product might not have a use case forever, but certainly right now, it's leading in adoption in comparison to Litecoin. It's got way more places accepting payment for it. It's got whole communities in Africa and Indonesia using it as day-to-day currency. So Bitcoin Cash is definitely doing okay. And we've also got that, update coming to this ecosystem, which I'm not really sure of the specifics about it because they've been quite secretive, but Smart Bitcoin Cash is coming to the system soon, possibly this quarter. So there's some stuff to look out for, constant developments there. But let's jump into the TA quickly, all right? So we could see Bitcoin Cash here started the run up when the bull market started, obviously, late last year, early this year. We ran up about 500%, probably a bit more if we zoomed out a little bit more, probably around 600%. So that's a pretty good run up here. And then we had a drop down on Bitcoin Cash of about 76%. So it's a lot, steeper of a drop than other altcoins, but we have to take into account that right before we had this drop here, in just one daily candle, Bitcoin Cash went up over 50%. So, it had to drop down further. It went up exponentially, so it's going to drop down further. Hard up, hard down. It makes perfect sense. It's got nothing against the product or nothing to do with the product. But what we can see on Bitcoin Cash is we saw a death cross, which led to a price depreciation of around 27% in addition to everything we've just said. And that death cross has kind of played out here. And now we've broken out of this 2.5 month long descending triangle. We've broken out and we've actually reclaimed the 50 SMA for support. And we're going to be making moves in the future up to probably the 50 EMA and the 200-day SMA, and then retesting this bull market support band before breaking out. That's obviously assuming Bitcoin gets a continuation, but I think it definitely will. As for time frame, this breakout could happen, anytime Bitcoin breaks past the 43k to 44k major resistance we need for a bull market continuation. Bitcoin Cash will definitely be breaking out of this area and heading for some sharp upwards movements. Possibly not a blow off top as of yet, due to the fact that Bitcoin will run first before altcoins outperform Bitcoin. So we might see gradual kind of movements. And then when Bitcoin dominance gets low enough, we'll start seeing that really volatile upwards spikes and stuff like that, just like we saw here. So as you can see, we saw this gradual uptrend. And then as Bitcoin dominance started to drop, we started seeing big spikes but that was cut off short, unfortunately. I'm easily thinking that Bitcoin Cash could reach, a level of around 5,000 USD by the end of the bull market. If Bitcoin reaches my target of 120k to 150k, that's at least a 2x. Bitcoin Cash 3xing, at the bare minimum from its, all-time high around here would be, that's definitely a conservative estimate. I think that it could go higher, could see prices of up to 10k, but I'd probably be taking profits around that 5k region. But let's look at so actually, before we look at the Bitcoin chart here, Bitcoin Cash Bitcoin chart, we'll see here on the MACD, which I actually didn't notice until just then, we've got a bullish divergence as well on the MACD, which is, another supporting factor as to why we might see upwards movement. If we see a drop down, we'll obviously be getting caught by this 50 SMA, which is newly flipped. It's very rare that we see a drop right back under the 50 SMA after taking over the 50 SMA, a sustained drop that is. But it does happen occasionally, but that's a very strong support zone. We've closed, 1 or 2 daily candles above that. So I'm expecting something like this if Bitcoin drops down further. But, all in all, I'm thinking that Bitcoin won't drop down that much further. Yes, we could go to the bottom of the range again. We could retest 30k. We could do something like that. But at the end of the day, this is a time where we want to be either consolidating or starting to move up again. We're pitching in new all-time highs, according to my prediction, between December and May 2022. That's when we're going to reach this cycle top, which I'm expecting is going to be 120k to 150k due to the diminishing returns and lengthening cycles theory. So yes, we could consolidate for a month or two more, but ideally we don't be seeing any drops to 20k. I don't think that's particularly on the table at this point. We could be going to the bottom of the range though. Again, I just don't think it would make sense in terms of what we're going to be seeing in the next few months to go to 20k anymore. If you asked me 3 or 4 weeks ago, I would have said something different. But let's go on the Bitcoin Cash Bitcoin chart here, and this is an interesting chart in my opinion, because when Bitcoin Cash dropped into the market, dropped into the scene in 2017, we saw a massive amount of interest in it. It was the first kind of fork off the Bitcoin network, and it gave it a lot of traction, and since then it's been in a steady decline over the course of 2.5 years, dropping it all the way down to current prices. But as you can see, I've already circled it here. We've seen a breakout of that 2.5 long year resistance, and actually past this red support block here as well. It wasn't sustained. Bitcoin dropped down, and hence Bitcoin on the Bitcoin Cash pair, it dropped down as well as people sold their Bitcoin Cash for Bitcoin in search of more security in the market. But what we can be seeing here is if we see a breakout in Bitcoin, and if we see that Bitcoin dominance drop, and we see an alt season renewal, we will be seeing a big breakout here. As you can see, the 1 or 2 daily candles, weekly candles that we closed above this resistance were absolutely massive. I mean, let's check out the scale here. Yeah, okay, so in 2 weeks, we went up 74% on the Bitcoin pair chart. So if we see an alt season continuation and a real continuation, not a 2-week alt season, we will be seeing massive moves here on Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin pair. So yeah, definitely got high hopes for Bitcoin Cash in the coming months, or the coming year, depending on, when you're thinking the bull market's going to end. But I've got big hopes for it. I think that Bitcoin's going to run first before it makes any major moves, as I've just said. But when that alt season begins, Bitcoin Cash is a coin that I'm going to be keeping my eye on. Close eyes. I've also got a lot of other coins that I've analyzed. Go and check them out on the channel. We've got Wanchain, EOS, Luna. We've got Litecoins, every kind of coin like that. And we've got more content coming out. Make sure to join the free Telegram group. Link in the description. We post trading signals, coin analysis, and Bitcoin analysis, on-chain data. Basically everything to do with the market. And anyway, so that's been the video, and I hope you learned something, and I'll catch you guys next time. Cheers, have a good one.